Hello everyone, welcome back. I thought I would go ahead and do another one of these collection videos. It's been a while since I've done one, and today something a little different. We're going to look at the Hayley Mills collection, what movies that we have from her filmography that we really enjoy. Starting with, of course, the most obvious one, The Parent Trap, probably the #1 movie associated with her name, even though she's done a lot of movies outside of those childhood Disney favorites. I think that's still what she is most well known for, and out of those, definitely The Parent Trap. There's The Parent Trap on VHS, and that is my overall favorite movie that she's ever been in. In fact, it's my favorite live-action Disney movie. It's always been a favorite since I was a kid. Then on DVD, we have the 2-disc Disney Vault collection. I miss them doing these. These were really good. They did a whole bunch of Disney classics, particularly live-action movies from the 60s and early 70s, and they had a whole lot of extra features, and not every one of those extra features carried on into the later pressings for DVD or Blu-ray or whatever they've done over the years. So that's a really cool 2-disc Disney Vault collection for that movie. And then the newer collection, which has The Parent Trap and The Parent Trap 2, the Disney Channel movie. It's just kind of okay. It's interesting to see, and that's kind of the reason why I wanted to have this collection, not just have a newer pressing of the first movie, but The Parent Trap 2, it is interesting to check out. So we have The Parent Trap collection, and then one of those that was annoyingly an exclusive through the Disney Movie Club, which is bizarre sometimes what are exclusives, because some of them are really mainstream popular Disney movies. The Parent Trap on Blu-ray. So one of the few Disney Movie Club movies I really wanted. I don't have a lot of those, but wanted that movie on Blu-ray. As I said, it's my favorite Hayley Mills movie, an absolute classic, and my favorite live-action Disney movie. Next up we have from the Disney Vault collection, Pollyanna. One of Hayley Mills' earlier films, not her earliest, but probably the first one that she was really widely recognized in, a Disney classic. And then In Search of the Castaways, which is a fun adventure film with a pair of siblings going on a crazy whirlwind adventure searching for their missing father, who is a sea captain, and it has the same kind of adventure feel that a lot of Jules Verne's work has. It really kind of fits into that vein, but still has a good Disney vibe as well. So that one's a lot of fun. And then The Trouble with Angels. This is a really good one that I think is underappreciated. It's not one that I really ever hear anyone talk about. Hayley Mills, some of her later ones in her teens, when she was post Parent Trap, but not quite into her adult work yet. Some of those I think kind of get lost in the mix, but this is a really good one that I think should be remembered. She was a troubled youth who goes to her high school years in a private school run by nuns, and it's a very touching coming-of-age story. Really well done. Then possibly my second favorite Hayley Mills movie overall, we have The Moon Spinners. I've talked about this before, how it's one that is really an unsung movie, and it's a great Disney movie in general because it's very odd. It really is a movie that has that same live-action Disney feel from the 60s and 70s is really the peak for a lot of the live-action Disney movies, and Hayley Mills is really good in it, but it's a mix between that and Hitchcock, of all things. It really, if you look at the structure of the story and the way it's filmed and the way everything just kind of plays out narratively, it reminds me of something like To Catch a Thief or something like that. It's very like a kid's version of a Hitchcock movie with a Disney spin. It's really interesting, and it's a good movie. Then we have Summer Magic, and this is just a charming, heartwarming story of a family who loses their father, and they are in a desperate financial situation, and they move from the big city, from Boston, out into the countryside, and they end up falling, it's a typical story where they move and they end up, first hating the idea, but then falling in love with the charming country life and the people they meet there. But it's done in a way that, even though it feels familiar, it still has a lot of that charming Disney magic from the time, and the performances are all great. Burl Ives is amazing in it, and so is Hayley Mills. So really good movie that survives on its supporting cast. Even though its premise is very familiar, the entire thing just really works. It clicks and is a fun movie with a good sense of humor and a decent number of kind of classic, very Disney feeling musical numbers. One of the more of its time Disney movies that she was in. The other ones, there's sort of a timeless feel to a lot of them. Some even take place in Summer Magic, and a lot of them take place in earlier time, and they just translate through the generations. I think That Darn Cat, for a lot of people, just within talking to people that have seen the movie, it very much feels of its time. Not everyone likes it, but it's great. It's definitely better than the remake, and it's just a good, fun comedy romp. I think it's really, really fun, and it shows Hayley Mills, I think, comedic talents pretty well. Whereas something like The Moon Spinners shows her dramatic talents, and Trouble with Angels, I think, is a good balance. And of course, Hayley Mills has been in a lot of non-Disney fare. I'm really, most familiar with her Disney stuff, and that's really what I re-enjoy over the years. Because I don't keep movies in the collection that I don't want to rewatch over and over again. So these kind of childhood favorites, they hold a lot of memories for me, and those are the ones I want to watch over and over again. The only one that I have that's actually a non-Disney Hayley Mills movie is Take a Girl Like You from 1970. This is the Twilight Time Blu-ray release, a defunct, really fantastic line of collector's Blu-rays that were all limited to 3,000 copies apiece, and for a lot of those movies, they're still the only way to get a Blu-ray. So open that one up. You have the Blu-ray disc and booklet and the back artwork. Really good film. Definitely not for everyone. In watching it, this is one of those that I would never sit and watch with Amanda. I don't think it would be up her alley at all. So definitely one to look up a trailer for, and maybe a short review without a lot of spoilers, just to kind of see if it's for you. But I think it's a really good dramatic comedy based off a book that examines the changing sexual attitudes of the time, of the 60s moving into the 70s, and the clash of differing perspectives on sexuality, in particular women's sexual liberation, and just the changing attitudes of society at large, and then individual feelings and interpretations and feelings of love and sexual intimacy, and particularly from the perspective of Hayley Mills' character, and really how things were changing and how difficult things were to navigate for women at the time. So really, it's a good look at that. Again, tonally not for everyone, but I think it's great, and it's Hayley Mills in one of her earlier breaking out of the childhood actor molds. Not the first time she's really done anything. There's In the Family Way and a couple others that are a little more adult fare from around this time, but this is really one of the better ones, I think, from that period where she was breaking out of this kind of Disney mold into some more adult fare. So I think overall this one fares really well, and I'm glad to have a Twilight Time release on DVD. I think a Warner Archive is the only way to grab it right now. So definitely not one of the easiest movies to just kind of run across. The one that is fun though, and one that is a good rewatch, and is just fascinating to see the perspective taken from the time that it was made. And of course the actors all do a good job to really get the message across, and the vibe of the time as well is fascinating. So Hayley Mills, I think that's one of the more interesting ones that are outside of the Disney realm. So that is a look at our Hayley Mills collection. As I said, it's primarily a lot of the Disney stuff. It's just what I grew up with, a lot of the live action Disney movies. And on VHS we had so many of them, and Hayley Mills was always a staple. She was like the Disney queen when I was growing up, and my favorite will always be The Parent Trap.